We have at the Airbrush Getaway a very rare treat. I want to introduce you to Vince Kennedy, who is the founder of CREATEX Colors. Vince, great to have you here at the Getaway.
Thanks, Cliff. It's always great to be here, and especially to see you, because you and I go back to where we first started in airbrushing and you were first starting in the magazine. I remember the day we were at the trade show in Pasadena next to each other with two little booths and everything. It was our first exhibit anywhere, anytime.
I think we were in the corner.
We were in the corner, exactly. I'll never forget that.
That's about 26 years ago. But Vince is a dynamic guy, one of the best salesmen out there, and I've learned and I've been inspired a lot by Vince over the years. Could you tell us how CREATEX got started?
Well, I had worked for chemical companies, especially where they made pigments and dyes for the textile industry, and started to put together some colors for fiber artists just to make another little business going. And that grew along. We started to grow a bit, and then we found that it wasn't our cup of tea. And we hit upon the airbrush, fortunately, you know. And so we decided to go into the airbrush, and it was a business where there were only a few suppliers of color, and there were a couple of dominant ones at that time. So we pursued that and pursued our activity with Airbrush Action near the vehicle for getting to the airbrush companies. And what really put us on Broadway was in Cliff's magazine, one company was giving a couple of colors to each person who got a new subscription. They got tired of doing it. So Cliff talked to me and we said, hey, we'll give them a 6-pack of color. You send us these subscription things, you know, and we'll send it all out to everybody. Everybody gets a box in 6 colors and no charge. And that put our color into the hands of everybody who are airbrushers, and it gave us a great mailing list. So it was a win for everybody. It was fantastic. That's what really kicked it off.
That's great. Were there some tough times in those days?
Yeah, in the beginning there were always tough times, you know. I remember right in 1988 we moved into a building that we couldn't afford, but we couldn't afford to continue where we were. It was one of those things. And I remember that over Christmas that year we had no money coming in, no money in the bank. We had bills of a couple of $100,000. And people were going to shut us off. We didn't have orders from anybody. You know, now that I think about all that, I don't know how the hell we got out of it.
It's a great story, but how did you get out of it, if you could remember?
well, some of the things we did, we didn't hide from our suppliers. And we called them and let them know that we were having tough times, but we would pay them. And to give us COD until we got on our feet, and we would pay the back bills. So we stayed on top of that, and then we got into the catalogs for the schools with our regular artist colors, and we went into that direction. But then we had the opportunity to get into airbrush, and that's what picked us up, or else we would have been treading water forever, seriously. And then our name spread because we met a company from Germany, and the person who was running it eventually took our name. We became his partner, and he put us all over Europe, mostly Germany, which is the biggest market. So that did a lot with getting our name across all over the country. And the other thing was the magazine. We had great ads. We had some artists who were fantastic, and when they used our paint, we put ads with them, and it gave us some credibility. In fact, there were times when the product wasn't as good as what the ads were, you know. So when people would first try it, it didn't work out. They'd say, "Oh, it can't be the paint. It has to be me, because look who's using it." But it gave us the time to correct and work on our technical and get the product down right.
The CREATEX story is a great story, because now we consider you to be one of the world's leaders in the type of paint that you manufacture, and it's just a terrific story of how perseverance really pays off. And Vince is just, you know, the model of that. And I want to thank you very much for this interview. And what are you doing these days?
You're welcome. Well, thank you also. Well, I live back near the office. I go in there once in a while. I don't go in much. My son runs all the marketing and sales, and another fellow runs the manufacturing. And You know, I come out to this and say hello to people, but I don't do that much. I hang around. I'm a member of Rotary, and life is pretty good.
Well, you've certainly paid your dues. Vince, thank you very much. It's an honor to have you.
Pleasure. Same here. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.